Hey, I'm back and recording a few episodes for you today because I'm just feeling it. So I am excited. My next topic I will be chatting with you about is reinventing yourself and, letting go of who you thought you had to be and reinventing yourself because I think we all need a little reinvention every now and then. I know I do. And it's like the moment you realize that the life you built and the role you've been playing or the version of yourself that you've been hustling to perfection isn't actually you. It's who you thought you had to be. And maybe it's who your parents raised or your last partner needed or who your job rewarded. But deep down, you've just been feeling the tug, that quiet whisper telling you, this isn't your I can't do it. That was silly. This isn't it. And you were made for more. That's what I've been feeling. And that's why I'm showing up for me, recording this episode for you today. And today we're going to be talking about how to let go of that old version of you and reinvent yourself in a way that feels honest, free, and finally yours. So I want to start with a story. And it's like the mask you didn't know you were wearing. So when I moved to London a few years ago, I brought all my ambition with me. I had a great job, a plan, a wardrobe. I mean, I always bring a wardrobe, and everything screamed on the outside like I've got it together. But as soon as I got there, the pandemic happened and I was quite lonely. And I just built up this version of myself thinking like I have it all. I'm so polished, respected. But there were times after a while, just being alone, that I just did not feel like myself anymore. And I just had become someone who I was trying to be for the rest of the world rather than thinking about what I wanted. And I was obsessed with what other people thought. And I thought, is this what success is supposed to feel like? Because it wasn't. Like, I always thought moving to a big city like London would make me feel like I've landed, I've got this. But if you're listening to this, you might even like know what I mean, which is, this is something that Mel Robbins says. It's like you can't change your life until you admit you're not happy with the one that you have. And that was my moment. And maybe this episode is yours, where I moved to this big city. I was so excited about it. Everything that I moved there initially for just kind of was like taken away from me. And then I realized I'm like, do I even like being here? Do I like that there's not much sun? I mean, the first year the summer was nice, but just even then I was like nice, but it wasn't like proper summer or like the kind of summer that I really liked because I love the sun. I love sunshine. I don't need it 24/7, but I do like a decent amount, and London was not giving it to me. And also on that, the mindset of people there is different. I mean, they're British. They have their own way of thinking and being, and that's okay, but after a while I just realized like, is this the right place for me? Do I feel like I'm doing something that makes me happy and not makes me look cool because I moved to this big city? So just think about the masks that you're wearing, and or maybe just think about the masks that you think that you didn't even know that you were wearing. So another thing to consider is, why does reinvention feel scary? Let's just say it out loud. Letting go of who you thought you had to be feels like a death, because it kind of is. It's the death of an identity that you probably earned praise and approval for and maybe even love. And your identity, like this is something Tony Robbins teaches, like your identity is the strongest force in your psychology. If you identify as the dependable one, the selfless one, the overachiever, guess what? You will sabotage anything that challenges that. So when you start saying no and saying yeah instead of yes, you are actually killing your joy. Or if you know, so when you start saying no instead of saying yes, or you quit the job that's killing your joy, or you stop texting the person who breadcrumbs you, you'll feel guilt. You'll feel resistance. You'll feel confusion. And that's totally normal. It's not a sign that you're doing it wrong, but it's just a sign that you're shedding something old, to like a snake or a butterfly transforming from its cocoon. Like it's not going to be easy, but you do need to accept that there's going to be some uncomfortable decisions that you need to make in order to turn into a new person. There's a few steps to letting go and reinventing yourself. And I talk about this in my 5-step detachment guide, which you can get on my website, but I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But there are 5 things that you can kind of do to really let go of things and start becoming the version of you that really feels aligned and not like assigned to something that you've already told yourself. And the first thing you can do is awareness. You call it out. You can't change what you don't see. So, consider this. Grab a journal and write down this question. What version of myself have I been performing that no longer fits me? Or maybe it's like an overgiver or a hustler, like, you're working so hard, like you're putting all this, you're doing all this extra stuff. Or, the girl who has it, the person, the girl, the guy who has it together. And then ask yourself, like, when did you start playing this role? What were you afraid of would happen if you didn't play that role? And this is where the detachment works. This is where the detachment work begins. Just like I talk about in the guide, it starts with seeing the patterns, identifying them. Then the second step is acceptance. Drop the judgment. Reinvention isn't about hating your old self, it's about thanking them and releasing them. In the book, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, which I love. I think it was like my first book that I read that like got me into this whole self-reflection, like rewriting my story and self-narrative. And she says, you cannot grow unless you're willing to let go of who you've been. And you did the best that you could with what you knew, so honor that. You don't have to stay there just because you're good at surviving. Like one thing that I might even start talking about is like my finance journey. I feel like I've made a lot of good money in my life, and I just until recently felt like I really didn't know how to manage it or make it grow or do all of these things. And just because the old version of me didn't know about it, I'm not going to sit here and just hate on her. I'm going to thank her for the journey and the reasons why I even got to this headspace and commitment to learning about, how to understand finances and markets and things like that because of all the things I've gone through in my past to get me here. So you don't have to stay here just because you're good at surviving. Like I said, you got to move through this and accept where you've been, and it's all good. The third thing is letting go, or what I like to call detachment, and, release the outcome. Here's where we get practical. Let go of people who are going to react. Your mom might be confused. Your friends might say, oh, you've changed. Good. You're supposed to change. If you're not growing, you're dying. Adapt or die. People pleasing is also a way of controlling. When you stop managing everyone's perception of you, you finally free up energy to live for you and let them be uncomfortable. You're not going to shrink back anymore. You got to do you. You have to let go of these outcomes, let go of these expectations, and do what you got to do to be the person that you want to be. And that, like, it's not gonna be comfortable the whole time, and it's gonna feel weird at first. The fourth thing is action. Choose the next right thing. This is where a shift happens. What does the most authentic version of me do next? Start small. Is it deleting someone's number? Wearing that outfit that feels like you? Maybe it's not even trendy. I mean, I love wearing outfits. I don't even care if there's a trend or not. If I know I look good in something and I want to wear it, I will wear it. I don't care if it's trending. Is that something you want to do? Just think about that. Posting something real on your social media, even if it's not perfect. Progress, not performance. Progress over perfection. And you don't need a 6-month plan. Literally, you can just take one next honest step and make sure you consistently keep showing up for yourself because you're never going to feel ready. So just do it anyway. No, like, even for me, I'm like, ugh, do I have the right to talk about all this stuff? Um, Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But like, I'm going to keep, I don't know if I'm just going to keep doing it anyway because that's what I feel like doing. And the last thing is gratitude. Focus on becoming. Don't wait until you're fully there to celebrate. Gratitude isn't just for what's finished, it's for the messy middle and that whole, like the whole story of your progress. It's kind of like, if you're going on a fitness journey, you have your before and you have your after picture. But what's really interesting is the in between of how you're getting to reinvent yourself and all those little baby steps along the way. And a great thing to do while you're on this new journey of reinventing yourself is track it. I actually just got a new habit tracker. I wish I had it. I have it in my desk, but I don't want to go get it. But maybe, maybe I will get it. I'm going to get it. Give me a second. So here is my habit tracker. I haven't started it because I want to start it in July, but you can see it has like 6 options for daily habits. I think it's 6. So I got some colored pencils. I'm gonna color it in. It's gonna be a whole journey. And then there's like weekly habits, monthly habits, and then you just fill it, you just color in all of the little squares. And I'm gonna just see, am I keeping up with the habits that I really want to build in my life to help me reinvent and be the person that I've been really trying to, reinvent myself into. So, um, I think it's so important to just kind of track your progress because day to day you don't really feel different, but from where I was last year compared to where I am now, I feel like a completely different person. And just think about whether it's a habit tracker or a journal, somewhere that you can track, every day how you showed up as the real you today. And these small wins build momentum, and confidence is not born, it's built. So, last but not least, you are allowed to reinvent yourself. And let me remind you, you are not too old. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You're just early in this next chapter. And maybe there's no one's like clapping as you walk away from with what's familiar and your friends aren't applauding you. And that's okay. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it for freedom. And even that being said, there are so many people out there who maybe even later in life found success. I know Vera Wang, she didn't even start her bridal or design career until she was 40. Giorgio Armani, I think he didn't become successful till he was 50. You just don't even know where you're going to be. I mean, I don't know what age you are listening to this, but just know it's never too late to reinvent yourself, to start a new business, to do something with your life that you never would have expected. Just follow those things that, make your heart sing. So, thanks for listening. I hope you subscribe if you really enjoyed what I shared with you today. If this episode spoke with you, please share it with someone else who would find it interesting. And if you haven't already downloaded my 5-step guide to detachment, it's filled with practical tools to help you release what's no longer serving you and step into a life that actually feels like yours. So just remember, you're not behind, you're becoming, keep going, and until next time, keep growing so you keep letting go so you can grow. Oh God, that rhymed. But anyway, okay, ciao. Mwah.